In the words of a great presenter in the UK called David Frost, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, my name is Ingram Jones, and I am joined with my special guest, Bo Bland from Truth and Facts Boxing. Bo, good to see you in the room.
Hey, thanks for having me in the room, man. Appreciate it.
It's great to have you in the room again. Okay, now Bo from Truth and Facts Boxing has joined us, and you're watching Bayloric TV Boxing Channel if you didn't already know. You know, boxing's a funny old game. It's something that people often say to me, I like the way you do something, I like the way you present the show, or I like the way you give views on the show. It's refreshing, it's different. Well, I'm going to do something a little different again tonight. It's quite often that you'll hear the words, he's going to get smashed. You put two guys together, you put it down on paper, you may say, what do you think of this fight? He's going to get destroyed. The guy doesn't even get a chance to even get through the ropes. The guy's been destroyed before he even gets through the ropes. We don't consider the possibility of an upset that could happen. When Buster Douglas was fighting Mike Tyson, oh, if you didn't talk to certain people, they say, oh, Tyson would destroy Buster Douglas in a couple of rounds. If you talk to people about Holyfield and Tyson, oh, Tyson's going to walk through Holyfield to blow up cruiserweight. If you were to talk to people about Hasim Rahman fighting Lennox Lewis the first time they fought, oh, Rahman's a bum. He got knocked out by Olive Maskiv. Remember that knockout he had? He got knocked out, he put through the ropes. What happened? The word upset is there for a reason. And I find in boxing, we spend a lot of time focusing on justifying the fact that we believe a guy's going to win a fight. And tonight, I'm going to do something very different. People say, oh, well, you can't break down a fight. You don't know how to break down a fight. Show me how you break down a fight. Well, I'm going to one step further. I won't break down a fight for you because we know already Luis Ortiz is the #1 ranked heavyweight in the world, considered by many the best, the most dangerous heavyweight in the world. But in this particular video, please listen. This particular video, Bo is going to be the trainer of Luis Ortiz, and I'm going to be the trainer of Dave Allen. Okay, Luis Ortiz has got 350 plus amateur fights and experience. He's had what? How many fights has he had as a pro, Bo? To be precise, do you know?
I have to look it up. I know he's like around 20, 23 or something like that.
23, 24 fights. Well, he's had a lot of fights, far more fights than Dave Allen, who had 10 or 11 amateur bouts, and now coming in and training and fighting, what, 10 fights as a pro. So maybe 30 fights in all he's had in the sport of boxing. Okay. But what a lot of people don't know about Dave Allen is the world-class sparring he's had. He's had sparring with Tyson Fury. He's had sparring with Vladimir Klitschko. He's had sparring with Huey Fury. He's been in the camps. He's worked with Spilka. He was a guy who was traveling the world, learning and using his abilities against those guys. Okay, we didn't see it against Dillian Whyte. And we could say, well, Dillian Whyte had 3 weeks to prepare for the Dillian Whyte fight. Okay, so regardless of what we can think of the Dillian Whyte fight, Dave Allen's going to come in much better shape. So the common consensus is Dave Allen's going to get his head taken off from his shoulders. He's going to get knocked out. He's going to go 10 rounds, take a lot of punishment, or 12 rounds, take a lot of punishment. But we know Dave Allen takes a great shot. Would you like to add to that, Bo?
I think what we have to keep in mind going into this is, I know we're going to be talking about what he can do, but let's take one thing into account. Let's put records aside and focus on attributes. Don't think of the names, because people hear a name, oh no, I know this guy, he'll run. No. Let's not look at the name. Let's not look at the records. Let's look at the opponents and attributes.
Okay, great. So the purpose of tonight's show, or this particular area we've got here, is I'm trying to find a way for the underdog to win the fight. I'm trying to find a way for the underdog to be able to win a fight. That's my base. Instead of being boring and say, yeah, well, you know what? I think that Luis Ortiz is going to blow Dave Allen away in a couple of rounds. Thank you very much. And that's my video. We're going to do something different. And you, as a Luis Ortiz man, is going to rebuff my thoughts. Okay? So I've become a trainer. I've been employed as Dave Allen's trainer. Don't know why he'd employ me, but he's employed me as his trainer. And as his trainer, I am going to take on the charge of Dave Allen and bring the bacon home. Well, I don't eat bacon, but I'm going to bring the title home. I'm going to beat Luis Ortiz and be recognized as the #1 heavyweight in the world. Bit difficult because I've already been beaten by Dillian Whyte. So I'm trying to defy the odds.
Right.
Shout out to the people who've just jumped in the room now. Matt Berry, Del Boy, Barry Ryan, Mikey B.A., Carl McDowell. By the way, those people talk about Kell Brook. I'll address that later on. I also believe Frankie Gavin is leaving Matchroom or has left Matchroom, but we'll wait and see how that materializes as well. But anyway, back to tonight. It's Luis Ortiz versus David Allen, and that's what I want to focus on now. Okay, so I've got my notes here. My notes have come really. The fight I've looked at for me was the fight where Luis Ortiz fought Brian Jennings. That's the fight I'm kind of using as my basis for Dave Allen. And here's where I feel the experience in argument. Brian Jennings had a very little amateur career, and he only had, you know, what, 15, 20 pro fights when he had fought Luis Ortiz. He put up a great performance against Luis Ortiz until he got knocked out. Okay, but he put on a very good performance. Gave Luis Ortiz some interesting, tricky moments in there as well. So I'm looking at that and using that as my hope for Dave Allen, because I'm going to be positive for Dave now. I'm his trainer. I'm not speaking otherwise. I believe he beats Luis Ortiz. Now, what's your thoughts on that, first of all? Bo?
Oh, you want my thoughts?
Yes, on that experience thing.
I don't. Okay, first of all, you can't. Depending on how many amateur fights that Dave Allen have had, because we've seen situations where guys like Lomachenko, Rigo, Usyk, they have these long extension amateur backgrounds and they win titles in under 10 fights. Like Usyk just beat
Glowacki.
Right, Glowacki. Okay, yeah. Lomachenko won a title in his 3rd professional fight. So if we have to look at his extensive amateur background. If he has a long extensive amateur background, it is extremely possible, because that means he's seen every style there is to see. So when you talk about experience, that long, when you have 300, 400 amateur fights, that experience in itself counts, because you're talking about a global scale of fighting and seeing every style and everybody that there is to see.
Okay, yes, I know you talk about experience, but in the same way, experience, if you're having the same similar sort of experiences, if I have 300 or the majority of my fights, I'm on top, that's an experience that you're used to. If you're in a situation where very few times, or your heart is not being checked, or your chin's not being checked because you're knocking everybody over, that experience counts for shit, right?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Don't have to repeat all that again, Bo.
What now? I'm sorry.
I said, if you've had X amount of fights where you've had everything your own way, and your record based on you having everything your own way, then you're going to fight a guy for one night that gives you an experience you've never had before, seeing stars, being hurt, being backed up, taking your best shots, putting you against the ropes and bullying you and hurting you and walking through everything you've got and causing you hell. That's a new experience for you, whether it be amateur or pro, and you're now using 8-ounce, 10-ounce gloves and getting whacked on the chops regularly, and there's nobody there. There's no referee trying to stop the action. It's a real intense bout. It's a different experience, and it's not 30 rounds now. We're going 8, 9, 10 rounds there. It's a new experience. 12 rounds. It's a new experience. So all that experience you may have had as an amateur, at this point in time, for just one night, to create a scenario where it's an experience you've never had before because it's so intense. Now, remember, I'm the trainer of Dave Allen now, so I'm trying to create that sort of intensity for the fight.
That's true, because we saw that with Lomachenko. He had never saw the way Orlando Salido fought him. He had never experienced that in the amateurs. So it took him a long time to figure it out. By then, he figured it out, but by then, it was like the last 3 rounds of the fight or something like that. So yeah, that's true. That's true. That's definitely true.
Okay, so it has to be educated pressure that's done to Luis Ortiz. So here's some things I picked up about Luis Ortiz, your guy. So you're going to be listening to this. Your guy I've looked at. First of all, you can't rush in at Luis Ortiz. You can't just come in straight lines to Luis Ortiz, because Luis Ortiz will step back and launch that left hand at you. Can't do that. And he's got a sneaky right hand as well, which people don't see. People talk about the left hand, but it was actually the right hand that caused Bryant Jennings problems, because he was so busy looking at for left. It was a right hand that caused problems. So you can't rush in with Luis Ortiz. With Luis Ortiz, you've got a feint. You've got to draw the feint because he's going to chuck the left hand, right, or the right hand. You've got to throw the feint and use plenty of head movement. You can't come in straight lines because he'll just, The other thing I noticed about Luis Ortiz, you cannot allow Luis Ortiz time and space to think. You must allow Ortiz time to think. You give him time to think and get his space. He gets his arms back like a bow and arrow sort of style, and he's able to extend that left hand. When he's able to extend that left hand, southpaw stance, he drives the left hand down and brings the right hand across. The other thing about Ortiz, when he extends like that, when you come in and you overextend, he steps back. He has this the left hand he puts over and he aims at you on the top of your head or by your temple, which can put your lights out or make you disorientated if you overextend against Luis Ortiz. So it's a fine line between putting the pressure on Luis Ortiz but not getting caught at the same time. Your thoughts on that so far, Bo?
So far, you are really close to being almost 100%.
Okay, I'm finished yet. I'm breaking it down. I'm just going through the Luis Ortiz.
Okay, because the only thing I would disagree is that you're right. You can't give no fighter time to think, but Luis Ortiz can make better, quicker adjustments because of his amateur background. But you're right about he likes to step back and he throws toward the temple.
Yes.
Okay. And that's because in the Cuban amateur style, you're technically taught to throw from the neck down, because sometimes when opponents see punches coming, they tend to kind of trying to bob and weave, kind of move into them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So no, but you're right though. He needs space for his offense to work.
Okay. Now, Bryant Jennings, when he got inside, he got a lot of success. When inside, Luis Ortiz, you've got to work Luis Ortiz body, and then come up old Mike Tyson style. Body shot, uppercut, left hook to the head. So it's 1, 2, 3. And you've got to slip to the sides of Luis Ortiz. You cannot throw shots. You've got to work his body, because he does not like body shots. And he slows tremendously when you work the body. Go back to the Bryant Jennings fight. So work his body and slip to the sides. You can't work the body and stand there with Luis Ortiz, because he himself is very good with uppercuts on the inside. Very good with uppercuts. Steps back, throws beautiful left and right uppercuts. And he can do it when you're coming in as well. He's very good at timing it as you come in. He can throw the uppercuts. So when you've got Luis Ortiz on the ropes, best time to get him on the ropes and charge his body and throw the uppercuts upstairs and finish on a left hook or right hand. Make sure it's a left hook or the right hand. They call it the swing. But you've got to finish on the left hook or the right hand and get out at the sides. Don't go straight back, because he'll clip you with the overhand left or the straight left. He'll clip you with it. So when you exit, slip to the sides with Luis Ortiz. There or there. Do not stand straight and do not come straight back. When I say about Luis Ortiz thinking, you can't allow him to think. You've got to rush him, and then you've got to rush him at angles. Okay? And put the fear of God in him. Once Luis Ortiz has got you and starts timing you, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble. I think there are some things about Luis Ortiz that I am not convinced in. I'm not convinced in his fitness. Don't bring the Alex Scott fight up because he was chasing Alex Scott around the ring. That doesn't count. I don't think his fitness is great. I question his heart, and I question if he really wants a real fight. We don't know these things, but I know that when Bright Jennings tried to test the heart of Luis Ortiz, there were moments in there that I started thinking, Jennings is not a big puncher, but yet he's catching him with uppercuts on the inside. Luis Ortiz is slowing. And it was when Brian Jennings started stopping what he was doing and trying to look at Luis Ortiz and trying to box Luis Ortiz from the outside. Luis Ortiz was able to extend the shots, throw the uppercuts inside, and on the outside, of course, stop Brian Jennings. But Brian Jennings is not as solidly built as someone like Dave Allen, who's got a great chin and is short, squat, and you know, Allen's got to up. For me, as his trainer, he's got to up his work rate. And when he gets inside, he's got to know what he's doing when he gets inside. Your thoughts?
Well, my only question would be, how do we know Allen has a solid chin? The guy only has 10 fights. So we really, I mean, unless if you can tell me somebody he's faced that's been as hard a puncher as Luis Ortiz as he's facing. So as Luis Ortiz's trainer, if I'm looking at David Allen's resume, I would sort of question his chin as well. I would say, well, he hasn't fought no big punchers just yet.
Anthony Joshua, he sparred extensively as an amateur and a pro with Anthony Joshua. At no point in time did Joshua drop him, and that was sparring.
Yeah, but sparring is totally different.
I agree. I agree.
You have hair growing, you're not going 100%. You know what I'm saying? You have hair growing, you're not going 100%. And although, let's just say, to your point, there are sometimes we've seen in sparring where guys do go 100%, and then when they get into the ring, like a guy that you spar with, you might have beat him up in sparring. Then when you have to fight him later on, he winds up beating you. So
yes, of course.
So we've seen that. So okay.
But I could say the same for your guy. Your guy's chin.
Yes.
Your guy hasn't fought any big punches in the heavyweight division.
That's true. But now here's the reason why I have more confidence in my guy's chin.
Okay. Like
you said in the Brian Jennings fight. Okay.
Yes.
Although he was having some success, now let's make something clear. All right. As Luis Ortiz's trainer, or as somebody who's well there on Luis Ortiz, all right, I will be the first to tell you guys, Luis Ortiz was not considered the best Cuban heavyweight in Cuba. He was never admitted to the Cuban Olympic team because of his style. He had more of a professional style. Okay. When the Brian Jennings fight, when Jennings got inside on him, did it confuse Luis? I believe it did, because no one was ever willing to get inside on those punches that he lets out at you. So did it confuse Luis? Yes, there was something he wasn't used to. There was something that he had not seen at that time. Did he hurt Luis Ortiz? I don't believe he hurted him as much as he just shocked him, kind of shook him up a little bit. But once Luis Ortiz was able to recognize what was going on, like you said, when he got inside, there was a point that Jennings allowed Luis to think. And once he did that, Luis started throwing those uppercuts. And then Luis started throwing the hook to the body right up underneath the elbow, because he noticed Jennings was ducking too tight, right up underneath the elbow. So that was a learning experience, curve fight for Luis Ortiz. Now, the biggest issue is, does he calculate and retain very well? Because let's say he sees it in this fight, will he calculate and retain it as well? So when he sees it in this fight, his reaction is faster and better than it was with Jennings, or will it be the same effect? That would be my concern with Luis Ortiz.
Good point. Now, I'm training my guy. Okay, now there are people who just tuned in and don't understand the point of this conversation. To repeat, for those who have just joined in on the show, this show tonight is not to justify, Luis Ortiz is gonna blow away Dave Allen. That's the common consensus, and it's a very boring common consensus. That might be a fact. That's not the point of this show. And if that's what you're coming on to tell us, we know you don't have to tell us that. The point of this show is, I've taken on the role as Dave Allen's trainer,
right?
And I'm trying to make a point for the upset. Okay. Right. And there's a reason why there's a word called upset in the dictionary. There's a reason why Evander Holyfield beat Mike Tyson. There's a reason why Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Hasim Rahman. It's called upsets. They do happen. Now, I'm just saying, as Dave Allen's trainer in this particular situation, and this fantasy situation, because I'm not his trainer, and Bo is not Luis Ortiz's trainer. But to make it more interesting, and people want to talk about breaking down a fight, this is what we're talking about. So for those of you who've just come in, that's what this conversation is about.
Hey, Ingram, I want to point something out to everybody that's listening.
Yes.
Think Muhammad Ali and Spinks.
There we go.
Spinks had what, 9 professional fights?
8 or 9 professional fights, yes.
And he beat the great Muhammad Ali. So people keep that in mind, because this is a similar situation here.
There you go. People say, oh, well, Dave Allen can't do it. I can tell you something now. That was the first time people saw Dave Allen fight, when he fought Dillian White. He had 3 weeks to prepare for the fight. So I think Dave Allen's going to be better prepared than the fight he had against Dillian White. But he's not fighting Dillian White, given he's fighting Luis Ortiz.
Correct.
Who is an accurate puncher. People will expect Dave Allen to come in straight lines and get caught with the left hand and get blown out of there. I'm of the belief, as his trainer now, is that I think if we get your guy against the ropes and we work his body, and we you know, I think we have to ensure that when we've got you against your guy against the ropes, we work the body early. We work the body early, and let's say that our guy can take the punishment of Luis Ortiz, and let's say rounds 8, 9, 10, 11, Luis Ortiz starts to tire because he's been hitting this brick wall all the time. He hasn't moved anywhere. Then we think if we're still around in rounds 8, 9, and 10, we can still go out and try and stop you, because your stamina is questionable in a tough fight. I'm not talking about a fight where you're dominating. I'm not talking about a fight where the guy's running around the ring from you. I'm talking about a fight where the guy is on you like a harper shark and is whacking you with body shots, is whipping uppercuts on the inside, is not allowing you to extend with that big left hand, not allowing you to do all the things that you normally do, and the fight becomes in a phone booth. Now, when that fight becomes in a phone booth, I pick my guy over your guy.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But if I'm
training him, by the way.
Right. Now I see what you're saying. But but if I'm Luis Ortiz's trainer,
yeah,
I have to ask myself, does David Allen even have those kinds of skills? Does he have those kinds of skills? Does he have that ability? Because the one thing that we all know is everybody got a plan until they get hit. You will watch film on somebody, but you don't really know how good they are until you in that ring with them. And if I'm watching the Dillian White fight, I'm telling my fighter, you punch harder than Dillian White. You punch a lot harder than Dillian White. Okay? So one thing we know is you punch harder than Dillian White. You're a better athlete than Dillian White. You're probably a better boxer than Dillian White.
Oh, well, I would question if Luis Ortiz is a better athlete than Dillian White. I would question that, because I've never seen. I haven't seen Luis Ortiz in a tough fight where he's been pushed and pushed and pushed his fitness. We saw it against Jennings, and he tired against Jennings.
I don't think he tired. See, that's the thing. I don't think he tired against Jennings.
Okay.
I don't think I think it was just a situation of Jennings was doing things that was confusing him more. Now, Jennings was doing things that were just confusing him more. I don't think he was I don't think he tired against Jennings. I just think it was a situation where, listen, Jennings was doing things that was confusing him.
Well, remember, he slowed. He dropped Jennings. What was in the second round? He dropped Jennings. Jennings went back to the corner in the second, right? It was on really shaky legs. He even turned away from Ortiz. That's how hard. And Jennings said, I couldn't see anything. Went back to the corner. In the third round, came back and started laying on Ortiz. Ortiz got inside, threw the nice uppercut inside, threw the body shots. And Ortiz literally slowed. He slowed. His output wasn't the same. But it's when Ortiz decided when Jennings started to pull back and get back on the outside, that's when he's getting clipped with shots over the top.
Hurry up, because I'm pissed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. It's just that, See, the thing of as a trainer is you have to have total and 100% absolute belief in your fighter. Okay. And maybe as a trainer, you would have those thoughts in your head, but you still have, you can't let it translate like that to the fighter.
I think my guy's got, I think our guy can out-heart you. I think our guy can out-heart you. He can't out-box you. That's a start. He can't out-box you. All right?
Okay.
Can he out-muscle you? I don't know. I don't know. But I don't know how good Luis Ortiz is in a phone booth. And that's the only way I think we beat you. We get you into a phone booth. We close the range down. We stay on the inside. And we work hard on the inside. We don't allow you. You say we're coming in straight lines. Well, okay. Let's slip to the side. Let's get on the inside. And let's stay there. Let's hold you up. Let's frustrate you. Let's hold you when you get close. Try and get on. Tie you up. Hold you. Maul you. Frustrate you. Make you start making mistakes. When you try to hit me, I'm slipping to the side. I'm tying you up. I'm staying close to you. I'm taking away what your best attributes are. That straight left hand. But I've got to be careful of the right hook and the uppercut. The way to deal with the uppercut is the left hook over the top. When he's throwing the right uppercut, the left hook over the top. So it makes you conscious of when you're going to throw the uppercut. Hey, I've got my left hook coming.
That's true. But now here's one thing. If I'm a trainer, right?
Okay.
And I'm watching. Let's say if I'm a trainer, I'm watching this and I'm seeing that this is what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
As a trainer, I say to myself, as a trainer, I say, listen, he's trying to smother you. He's trying to get in on you. Use your angles. Use your movement. Use your punch count combination. You know, you go side to side on him. Keep your jab. Keep your punches in his face, because I'm noticing the more you get off, the less he's willing to engage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what do you think of my? I mean, ultimately, if I'm being honest, and the way I see the fight, I don't think it's experience that wins this fight for Luis Ortiz. I don't. I actually think it's boxing fundamentals. It's that left jab. It's that right. It's the left cross, and the right hand. That sneaky little right hand, and the fact that Allen will come in straight lines. If Ortiz wins the fight, that's the way it'll be. That's what I think. And I think that Ortiz should win the fight. However, as his trainer, again, I do question his heart. I do question his chin.
Well, as Dave's trainer, if Dave's trainer, you're supposed to question his heart. You're supposed to question his chin, because these are things that you haven't seen him have to deal with. But now, as Luis Ortiz's trainer, I may have seen him, like you said, I may have seen him have to do that in sparring. I may have seen him in a fight before where he's had to do that. So on the flip side of that coin, I look at Allen's record. I look at the fact, okay, he doesn't have your experience. I will question how he would handle certain things in certain pressure type of situation moments, given the fact that I feel my fighter has the more experience and maybe even the higher skill set.
Yeah, you guys have definitely got the highest skill set. But skill set, you can have all the skill in the world. One right hand, one left hook. Don't matter how much skill you can't use skill being horizontal.
That's true. That's true. That's very true.
Okay, so I'm saying that we take away that experience. Remember that in my mindset, I'm telling my fighter, don't allow Ortiz to replay an experience he's had before. Give him a new experience. Give him a phone booth experience. Give him a phone booth experience in a foreign country where things are not working his way, where the referee's on his case, where I'm working his body, I'm breaking him down, I'm working the body, I'm whipping uppercuts inside, I'm hurting him, I'm discouraging him. His best shots I'm taking, and I'm still coming, and I'm still coming, and I'm still coming. Give him that experience, and let's see what he does then. Let him prove that he really is the best heavyweight in the world by fighting, not by boxing, not by being slick and trying to. You'll even look at the Bright Jennings fight. He had to start getting on his toes and moving around the ring. You'll watch carefully. He didn't stand in front of Bright Jennings no more. He started moving to give himself space because the referee told him to stop holding. Another bad habit that Luis Ortiz does have that people don't talk about. Luis Ortiz likes to push off. Now, when your
Yes,
guy
he does.
pushes off, he's defenseless. You
Yes.
can't push off and throw punches. So if I'm Dave Allen and say, look for the push and cut over the top. Look for the push, slip inside. Look for the push, wait for him to push you, crack him.
Yes. You're absolutely right. Emmanuel Stewart told that to Lennox Lewis. He said, when I see Rockman goes to push you, that means his hands are on you and he's defenseless.
Hey,
He's
you should take 9. You don't have to worry about it. You both take 9. That's not fair. I think that's fucked up.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I hear you talking.
Okay, so can you acknowledge me when I talk to you? It's not often.
We are live. Baylor TV is live.
And you never responded.
I did respond to
No,
you.
you didn't.
Okay.
But I think that's really fucked up, by the way.
You can think that. You're right. I think what you're
So, at the moment, we are still talking Luis Ortiz versus, let's see the people in the room at the moment and what they're saying. Do you think Dave will be heavyweight champion of the world or something else? Listen, I'm being the fantasy trainer at the moment. We know a lot of people think Dave, what's going to happen to Dave? I'm taking this approach that, you know, I'm going to play into the upset. How could the upset happen? He will go to points, but he will take a beating. That's what a lot of people are saying. I understand that. Mr. E. Good says Ortiz is a hype job in his opinion. One bad performance, LOL, people write off way too easy. Okay. Con Sheehan is the best prospect at heavyweight. Okay. How old is Ortiz? Time waits for no man. And old Ortiz is way past his sell-by date. David is a young man. Bo, are you there? Give us a thumbs up when you're ready, mate. Okay, you can take the mute off, Bo. I muted you.
all right. I'm back.
Okay, so I just hit the mute button. Let's go. Let's move on.
All right. Go ahead with your last point.
Yeah, people are talking about Luis Ortiz, so just in the room. People still don't get people don't understand where I'm getting at here. Yes, we understand that Dave Allen probably shouldn't be in the ring of Luis Ortiz. God, people don't listen when I speak, do they? They just don't listen.
Well,
So let's just go on with our show regardless. Let's go on with our show regardless.
Well, that's why I said they got to listen to the content. Look, here's the thing. I think, my opinion, if I'm the trainer of Luis Ortiz, I'm telling Luis Ortiz, who's my guy, it would take someone of higher skill as yourself to beat you. This guy is not on your level. This guy don't belong in the ring with you. Go in there, do your thing, and run him down. Now, as the fight goes on, because again, we never know what happens. Once a guy gets popped in the mouth and the fight is going, things change. You have to change. But I do definitely think that if I'm Luis Ortiz trainer, I'm gonna wonder, because I might have seen him gas out in sparring. Truly, because you see things from your fighter in sparring. I might have seen him gas out in sparring. I might have seen him do certain things. I'm like, ooh, that can be exploited. So I'm gonna work on those things with him, like get him up against the ropes and work and work his body. I'm gonna be like, okay, we need to do something to counter that if that's what this guy is gonna do. And then I have to assess, does he have the skill and ability to do that as well? You see what I'm saying? Because the problem with Luis Ortiz is he's a puncher and a hard puncher. And sometimes when you're a puncher, that's what you believe will always bail you out.
Actually, I'm actually glad. That would be, but that in terms of strategy and you saying all that stuff to Luis Ortiz, that's what I hope you do say to your fighter, that you expect your levels above, and puff your guy's head up and gas him up. I want you to do that, because guess what? When you get in there and you find out that my guy with his best shot, and he's still coming at you, and you hit him, and he's still there, and he's coming on your chest, and he starts hitting you with uppercuts and hitting you with left hooks and right hands and hurting you psychologically, you're not prepared for a dogfight, and we're prepared for a dogfight. So now it's an experience you haven't had before, and it's an experience that we've had, and it's an experience that come 8, 9, and 10, we're looking to put the step up on you and close the show on you. And that's what you're not prepared for, and you wouldn't have trained for. And I don't believe you are training for that at the moment. You're training to blow us out in a couple of rounds. That's what you guys are training for, because you believe that Dave Allen shouldn't be in the same ring as you.
That's
so with
true.
that basis, I think that's a window of opportunity and a big window of upset. If you guys were training and say, you know what, this could be a banana skin for us, we've got to be very careful. But the fact that you think that you think that you're going to blow us out of there, and you know we're not very good, and you know we're ranked 185 in the world and all that stuff, we're a bum. You think all those things, you believe all those things, you believe your own hype. Yeah, hey, you are skilled, you are talented, but how much of that are you going to leave in the gym before you come to the fight? How much of that are you going to leave eating McDonald's in the UK? Are you enjoying life in the UK? How's life treating you in the UK? Who are you sparring with? Who are you training with? What are you doing in the UK? It's different when you've been in America. You are now in the UK, right? So what are you doing? How are you doing the change? Do you like fighting at home all the time? It's okay against Malik Scott, against Tony Thompson, and against Bright Jennings. They couldn't punch. Maybe Dave Allen is a heavier puncher. Maybe he's a harder puncher than you faced before. Why is it you've never faced punches in your career? Why is it you are only number 3 in Cuba and not number 1? Can we look at that? Can I tell my guy, Dave, listen, this guy's not even the best in Cuba. He's not the best in Cuba. Who's the last Cuban heavyweight champion of the world? Who's the last UK heavyweight champion of the world? Come on, Dave, get out there and show them Cubans what we can do. Those are the sort of things I tell my guy. Those are the things I tell my guy and inspire my guy. What are you going to tell him? What he already knows? It's a dangerous game.
Yes, it is. Right. You're right. You're right. But see, that's why I would tell my guy. I would tell my guy. I would say, look here, Lewis. All right. Yes. You're the best. People are here to see you. Okay. You are the show. You are the better fighter. You are the better boxer. Okay. You're over here to make a name for yourself. You want to show everybody that Eddie Hearns didn't just make a mistake by signing you. All right. Also, one of my biggest concerns with my fighter, if it was me, my fighter wouldn't be fighting this fight because he just got through fighting Malik Scott. Now, everybody likes to say, well, that wasn't a hard fight. And true it be, it wasn't a hard fight. It was a fight that required him to have a training camp nonetheless, which means he needs a rest period. He needs a rest period. So I would be concerned about my fighter being overtrained going into this fight against what could be perceived as a light touch. Okay. So I may tell my fighter, listen, you know, maintain your composure, maintain your patience, wait for things to come to you. Don't rush. Okay. Wait for it to come to you. Now, when opportunity is there, you take it. All right.
Okay.
But definitely
the Malik Scott fight.
But definitely
the Malik Scott fight. The Malik Scott fight, as far as I'm concerned, you can void that fight because as far as I'm concerned, I think most people in the arena knew that fight was going to go to points. Why was the fight in Monaco? Why was the fight not in the UK? Why could the fight not be made in the UK? Why was it in Monaco?
I don't know. That's a good question.
If Luis Ortiz carried Malik Scott for 12 rounds, a lot of people bet on Malik Scott to go the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the real Luis Ortiz? Is that the real Luis Ortiz we saw there?
No, but see, here's the thing. Luis Ortiz is the type of fighter he needs you coming at him.
Listen, Malik Scott, no disrespect to Malik Scott, but if Malik Scott is the guy who's got the biggest heart in boxing, right, then I'm Justin Bieber. He's fighting the polar opposite in this fight. From a guy who's showed a lack of heart, he's now showing a guy fighting that has got big heart and big balls.
And that's what, listen, see, this is what I'm telling you.
Sort of thing that gets you knocked out, believe it or not.
Right. And this is what I'm telling my fighter. Listen, now you're fighting the guy that's going to come at you. Now you're fighting the guy that's going to give you what you want. He's going to be there. He's going to come at you. He's going to be there for you to let your punches go and let them punches rip. All right. This is your shine moment. Now, I would also tell my fighter, now be careful though, because he still is a dangerous guy. See, like as a trainer, you always let your fighter know when a guy is dangerous. You don't undersell a guy. Oh, this guy, no. You keep it in his mind. This guy's dangerous, so he's on alert.
I tell my guy as well, you're doing something that the 5 best heavyweights in the world wouldn't fight. Listen, David Haye didn't want any of that work. Anthony Joshua didn't want any of that work. Who else we got? Kubrat Pulev wouldn't want any of that work.
Right.
Povetkin wouldn't want any of that work. Wilder don't want any of that work. So Stavern don't want any of that work. So you're going, that's 6 guys got there. You're going in against a guy that nobody else wants to face. That's what I tell Dave Allen. And I tell him, Dave, look at his record. Look at his resume. He hasn't fought a puncher. How many of those guys can you say in there? Tony Thompson, okay. What's his name? The guy who fought, came up from cruiserweight with him.
Who, Luis Ortiz?
Yeah. What's his name? From Nigeria, the Nigerian cruiserweight.
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, he fought him. Luis Ortiz at this point has never fought a puncher in the heavyweight division. He hasn't fought a puncher, a genuine puncher. I don't know how heavy-handed Dave Allen is.
That's, yeah. See, and
I don't know how heavy-handed it is.
Now, as Luis Ortiz trainer, that's exactly what I would tell him. I said, listen, we don't know that much about this guy other than the fact that he has 10 fights. So we can't underestimate him, but at the same time, we can't undersell ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't underestimate him, but we can't underguess ourselves here.
Okay, how does your guy react when my guy takes your best shot and keeps coming? In rounds 9, 10, 11, and 12. After you've been pumping your guy up and telling your guy, you know what? You're the best.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to blow him out of there.
Mm-hmm. I tell him,
the referee's on him. The referee says, stop pushing. Stop pushing.
I tell him, Lewis, this is nothing new to us. This is nothing new to us because
and the referee starts taking points off of Luis Ortiz.
I tell him, Lewis, this is nothing new to us. You got 26 fights and only 22 knockouts, so you've had to go the distance before. Stay the course. You've seen this in the amateurs. You didn't knock everybody out in the amateurs. Stay the course. Let's keep going.
You only know about 3. You only know about 3 rounds. That's your experience of 4 rounds. You don't know about 10 and 12 rounds in a tough fight. That's an experience our boys bring it to your guy. We're going to try. We're going to put it on you. We're going to work your body. We're going to come to civil uppercuts. We're going to stay on you. We're going to exit. We're not going to back up in straight lines. Okay, our guy has got a problem though. His way of blocking punches is to put his head this way and do this. So we got to work on him trying to either slip, because just putting your head back like that is not great, because you're going to get caught with something in the left hand over the top. Don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's ducking as well into the left hand. Allen's got to be careful. He doesn't get caught with that left hand over the top, which is around the temple. That's my concern. I'm not concerned about Allen getting hit on the chin, getting hit the top of the head. That's where I'm concerned with Luis Ortiz.
If I'm Luis Ortiz's trainer, and because there's only so much tape, let's get something straight. Sometimes you watch the tape on the guy and then you get in the fight, he's doing something different. We've seen that before. Like when Crawford fought Postal, nobody saw Crawford fighting like that. He was boxing and moving because that was something we had never seen him do. So if he starts doing it, let's say he, like you say, he tries to come in, he tries to get a little rough, right? I'll tell my guys, listen, he's fighting in a way that he's never fought before. He's going to make that mistake. You have to be ready to jump on him when he makes that mistake. trust me, he's gonna make that mistake because he's never fought like this before. He's gonna slip and make that mistake. So you have to be ready for when he makes that mistake. You are more prepared. You are more physical, and you are just the better fighter. So you're just gonna have to wait for him to make that mistake if he fights this way. But while you're waiting for that mistake to happen, go to his body. Try to continue to try to spin him around. Continue to try to keep him on the odd side or the end of that jab. So again, stay the course and stay focused.
I hope you've been watching Dave Allen's last fight against Dillian Whyte. I really do. Because I was underprepared for that fight. He was underprepared. He had 3 weeks notice. And for 3 weeks notice, I thought he did bloody well. 3 weeks notice. And he didn't know he could do the distance. He didn't know he'd be able to do the distance. So he's going to try and come on late in the fight. But our guy knows now from that experience, he's got to start fast. He's got to throw more punches.
That's true. That's true.
So that video, and that was the first time we saw Dave Allen fight, then that's probably a good thing for us. Because you've only got that videotape of that fight.
Oh,
and we know we can be much better than that.
We know and I'm not just gonna watch that one fight. I'm not gonna look.
You ain't got no choice. You ain't got no choice. That's the only fight that's out there on YouTube for you to watch.
Okay.
Well, there's plenty tapes on you.
I'll make phone calls.
There's plenty tapes on you.
I'll make phone calls. I'll find out who's he sparring with. Okay, he's sparring with this guy. This guy is pretty.
Dillian Whyte.
Right? No. I mean, who's David sparring with? Who's David?
Who's your guy been? By the way, who's your guy been sparring with since he's been in the UK?
You know what? I don't know. I honest to God don't know. I think he's been sparring. I don't know. I honest to God don't know who he's been sparring with.
What's your guy been doing since he's been in the UK?
Training. He's been training.
You hope? So he's not been sightseeing?
No, he's been training. I got him training. Got him rested, got him doing his nutrition, eating, and things of that nature.
A guy as small as Bryant Jennings was able to hurt Ortiz to the body.
Yes.
Our guy, who's thickly set, I'm sure can hurt your guy even more so and sap his energy more. Wrestle and maul with you.
And if that's what you're trying to do.
Listen,
now,
I'm not looking to box you. I'm not looking to box you.
Okay, and if that's what you're trying to do, which is get in.
I'm looking to mess you about. I'm looking to throw sneaky uppercuts on you. I'm looking to tie you up when you're trying to work. I'm trying to work when you don't want to work. So work when you don't want to work would be when you're pushing off, then I'm hitting you.
Right.
When I'm up close, whacking you to your body. When you start getting throwing a flurry or getting off to the right hand, getting out of the way. Don't be there to be hit. Of course, that's going to be difficult with Dave Allen because, as a lot of people know, Dave Allen's there to be hit. But a lot of people don't know is that our boy only had 3 weeks to prepare for Dillian Whyte. Our guy's been in training for he's been training for this fight a long time. He knew about the Ortiz fight long before it was announced on Twitter. He knew about it. He knew a month beforehand. So he was preparing for the fight. So our guy's going to be much better prepared, in much better shape. Well, I hope he is. Going to be in much better shape. And I hope he doesn't freeze on the night. I hope he does leave the best of him in the ring and not in the dressing room. I hope he doesn't get intimidated by the size of Luis Ortiz.
I don't think he will be. I don't think he will be, and I would tell my guy that. I would tell my guy, listen, I don't think this guy, because here's the thing, the guy, for a guy with only 10 fights to take this fight, he's taking this fight to look to make a mark. He's not taking this fight to just come in here and be a punching bag for you. I would make sure my fighter understands anybody that get in his ring with you is not looking just to be no punching bag for you. Anybody in his ring is looking to dethrone you because you are on foreign soil. You are in his backyard. You know, these are still his people. So do not take this guy lightly or make it look like that this guy is just here to get beat up and get a paycheck. No. He's still here to he's still a professional fighter. He's still here to make a name for himself. That's why he took this fight. I would definitely make sure that's in my fighter's ear. Okay.
Bo, again, can you explain the purpose of this conversation that we're having at the moment to the listeners?
I'm at to step away for a minute, but I'm explaining this. We are taking the roles of the trainers of each fighter. I'm taking the role of the trainer for Luis Ortiz. He's taking the role of the trainer for David Allen. So we're saying what he would tell his fighter as a trainer and what I would tell my fighter as a trainer. We already know that Luis Ortiz has a high probability of winning this fight. We're talking from the aspect of an upset, and when you're preparing for an upset as a trainer, what do you tell your fighter to prepare to try to make an upset of another fighter that's the heavy favorite?
That's it. So yeah, it's different, isn't it, to talk about rather than have a. I mean, you think of this out a second, and I think we should close on this point.
Okay.
If fights were closed down on the basis of opinions of people, we'd have no fights in boxing.
No.
Did you know that?
Yes, I agree 100%.
Oh, this fight and this fight, X, A, and B. Oh, he's gonna get smashed. Okay, let's not make the fight then. Let's not bother.
That's that. I agree. I agree.
And then these same people complain and say ducking. They're the same people that say, "Oh, this guy's gonna get smashed," but same people say he's not taking a step up and he's ducking. You can't please these people. They're oxymorons. They think they're confused inside. You say one thing and then you do something else. Just double Dutch. So, you know what? We have an idea of what we think is going to happen in the fight. But hey, have a bit of fun. Play with the fight.
Well, here's the thing is, like you said, the reason why you have champions and you have contenders is because eventually the contender becomes what? The champion. And how does that happen? He has to beat the odds to become the champion like champions before him. Ali beat the odds to beat Liston. Okay? Duran beat the odds to beat Sugar Ray Leonard. All right? Floyd Mayweather beat the odds to beat Janero Hernandez. So the role we're playing is that of, hey,
upsets are possible.
Yes, many of fighters have upset the apple cart. How? Because they had someone in their ear telling them it's possible.
Hold on, Fonfara versus Smith, the last upset. Fonfara versus. Oh, we just had a fight last night in Russia with a Namibian guy.
Yeah, he knocked the guy out in 30 seconds.
Well, there you go, got knocked out in 30 seconds. That was never meant to happen.
Yeah.
By Namibian. Well, exactly. So don't talk to me that upsets can't happen. Please open your eyes. It can happen.
That's true.
And if Alan were to uncork a right hand from hell and lay Luis Ortiz flat out in the UK, my good friend Bo will be crying.
You know what though? I will come on this show and take my whooping like a man.
Listen, that will be. Listen, Luis Ortiz getting laid out flat in the UK by Dave Allen. Listen, mate. Listen, mate. I tell you now. Listen, you're gonna get a shellacking. You're gonna get a complete shellacking if it happens. Just pray it don't happen. You're gonna be like, "What you got? No."
But if it happens, I'm telling everybody, if it happens, this is my word. I will come on this show and I will take my whooping like a man. Like a man. I will come on, I will sit, I will be quiet, and I will just let it rip.
I will say this though. There's a reason why Luis Ortiz was never the #1 heavyweight in Cuba. And there may even be a reason why he may never become heavyweight champion of the world. How many fighters have we seen in the history of boxing that are so skilled and so talented, never become heavyweight champion or never become champion of the world? There's no guarantees. He's got the ability, he's got the skills. There's no guarantees.
There isn't, because I just knew David Tua would become a champion. John Ruiz
David Tua, there you go.
I just knew David Tua
be champion.
Yeah. John Ruiz became a champion before David Tua, so you're right.
David Tua didn't become world heavyweight champion though.
No, he never did.
John Ruiz became heavyweight champion of the world.
Yes, he did. Faiz Okindo is still trying to become a heavyweight champion.
Oh, was it Olive Maskev? Wasn't he heavyweight champion of the world?
He was.
Bruce Seldon, heavyweight champion of the world.
Heavyweight champion of the world.
Axel Schultz, heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
Francois Botha, heavyweight champion of the world.
That's right.
Frank Bruno, heavyweight champion of the world.
All right. I gotta step away for a second there, Ingram. I'll be back, okay?
We're going to end the show now anyway.
Oh, okay.
So once again, thank you so much to both from Truth and Facts Boxing. I don't support the fight. I've said it again, I do not support the fight between Dave Allen and Luis Ortiz. I don't. I think it's matches like this where people can get seriously hurt.
Yes.
But for the purposes of supporting the sport of boxing in terms of something a little different, the potential of an upset, we've talked about it here. Thank you once again for Bo. Thank you all for tuning into the show. Don't forget to check out the Bermain Stavern training videos, the interview of Don House, and of course our exclusive with Bermain Stavern himself. So check it out, guys. And big shout out to you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you again. Take care.
All right, man. Thanks.